Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Summer 2019. It's possibly the last game of the week as GenG lead the series 1-0 over the Afreeca Freecs after life stealing away a Baron. And that was basically the end of the game. GenG were able to get themselves over the line based on that particular moment. So congratulations on the MVP. Life playing super well this season.
Yeah, I mean, this is potentially really, you know, I don't know where I'm going with that. I was trying to make a life pun, you know, but I nothing was coming to me quick enough that really did it justice.
Right. Okay. So. I mean, I had a few swimming around in my head as well, but sometimes...
I'm a bit of a boomer sometimes, yeah. All right? You gotta understand.
Well, Afreeca are going to say, well, that Kiana was annoying, so we'll ban that one away. Some cheers from the GenG fans there, recognizing the shout-out to Rich's skill on this champion. I need to talk about Rich just for a second as well, because in the other game that he played, Heroes of the Storm, which is no longer an esport that is supported, which is a little bit sad. Ooh. But for us, it's fantastic, given the fact that Rich is now able to exert his skill on Summoner's Rift instead of in the Nexus. He was a carry player, largely a melee carry player. So he was playing things like Zeratul and Illidan, which were very much all about me champions in the Heroes of the Storm sphere. Generally, you would build compositions around them. And we've seen that Rich is able to play that style very, very well. Able to go out on his own and really leverage the abilities of his champions to just absolutely obliterate single targets. It's very fun to watch. Not going to be able to see it on the Kiana this time around. We'll see whether he's got any other picks in order to make that one work. As GenG lock in the GenG bottom lane.
You ready for Talon? Is that what you're trying to...
Oh, yeah.
Get me all excited for? Okay, well...
Talon, Yasuo. Is there a more all-about-me champion than Yasuo?
Let me think about this for a second. Riven.
Riven? Okay, yeah. Riven's a good
Draven.
one. Master Yi.
Draven.
Yeah, Draven's definitely.
I actually don't think there's one more than Draven. Draven wants the kill.
I mean, that is also thematically correct.
Yeah. So. League of Draven.
I reckon
you got it together, Alice. Come
on. Look, you're the analyst. You're there. As Rich now going to go over to a more stealth assassin. Certainly has some experience on that. Also,
so this is
thinking
actually
about it, 8 seconds to go.
So a lot of people think that Kiana's been banned away here, but instead, she just got a new hairdo. And now she's wearing a green mask.
Where was Kiana in the KDA video? Is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Oh,
they should have leaked it.
Yeah. Oh well. So it all went wrong, but we're hopefully going to try and figure it all out as Rich going to be jumping, most likely. Of course, CuVee could be playing the champion, but it feels like a Rich champion to me. No Varus to be seen in the hands of aiming, and with Ezreal already locked away, it's likely that we're going to get another 80 carry ban coming out of GenG, just to make aiming as uncomfortable as possible. Is it what, Lucian, potentially? What gets banned next?
Yeah, that's going to be the question. What is going to be coupled with the Braum? The Ezreal and the Tahm Kench is already really annoying for all of these champions.
Okay, go for the Sylas instead.
Now, perhaps Afreeca could be thinking of the Kai'Sa to gain access to the Ezreal in the backline.
Well, Kennen is going to be banned away second here for the Afreeca Freecs. J4 did leave first, and now Peanut can lock away his Sejuani if he wants to. Likely something that the Afreeca Freecs are going to be ready for, and something that Dread will be very good at capitalizing on. We know that this guy, he chose the wrong Glacial champion as he moves back to the Sejuani. The understandable pickup here, but what does the Afreeca Freecs have? Because they know that that was what Peanut was going to lock in, right? That was basically in the cards. Is now aiming, thinking about Vayne. And he's going to lock it in. The old classic counter pick against the Ezreal.
Yeah, and the Tahm Kench even.
That's a good point.
Vayne will be quite good, so that's going to be a pretty hard counter matchup in bottom.
Damn it. I want Dread to play his damn Kindred. He was known for this champion. We barely see it. Come on, QQ.
2 seconds left, and the Trundle will be locked in. Afreeca has gone for counters all across the board, but GenG have one last chance to respond here.
Gangplank.
Ooh.
There's that would be the CuVee special.
Well, that would be pretty good against the Aatrox, but
Kled would be better.
if Afreeca could just move the Azir top lane, it wouldn't be that great.
God.
Oh, man.
We've gone as GenG as we possibly can. The Karma to be locked in here, the Nullifier, the Anti-Fun. It has happened once again. But this
Rich
is...
fly Kuzan. Oh, so I was thinking about this on the KFC thing, and fried is fried in Korean, right? They use the H. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I'm still not knowing how they get the KFC.
Yeah, no, I'm not there.
Okay.
Just, is it something about chicken?
That's
don't
what.
think so.
The meme's not making sense to me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that. I did dedicate some time
You gave it
trying
some
to
thought?
solve that for you, because I know that it would trouble you.
I really appreciate
You'd probably
that.
lose sleep over it, and I didn't want you to have insomnia like I do.
Hey, I already do, dude. We were like having a conversation
Probably
about Clutch
because we're
versus TSM this
separated
morning. Yeah, okay.
For
that's
6
the
days out of the week.
That's true. That's true. I think it's probably LCK staff's fault. That's where we're going to lay blame. At this point in time, please don't cut us off. Promise we'll be nice in the future. As this is going to be your Afreeca Freecs team comp. Aatrox, Trundle, Azir, Vayne, and Braum. The Vayne making her way back in the hands of aiming. See whether aiming's going to be able to utilize that level 6 power spike to just instantly kill the Ezreal, which is what Vayne's can do. It's been our experience with this particular matchup in times gone by, but Ezreal can navigate this lane. It's just, it can get dicey at certain points.
Yeah. And GenG, they have tools to go late, but they're really going to want to snowball.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are going to be your compositions, and this is going to be game number 2. Let's get into it. GenG fans extraordinarily loud as we have a look at the beautiful evening here at Lowell Park. Afreeca making the 5-man invade. Peanut is going to spot it out. Not going to be doing any weird shenanigans like he did versus Griffin last time around, getting caught out in his jungle and thus setting them up for a very difficult game.
Well,
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
90?
You know what?
What the hell? He gets to go back and get a control ward if he wants one.
great.
What is that?
This is outrageous.
Better players roll higher on Klepto. That is a fact. Like back in the day where you got to bring along 1% crit in your runes.
I want to tell chat a story.
All right.
Okay. One time I was duo queuing with Atlas here, and he got 3 gold satchels, and the game bugged on all of them and gave 0.
Didn't happen.
It
Never
did.
do it together.
Oh, we did.
Was that the dream that you had during your insomnia last night?
I wish.
If I still dreamed.
Oh, man.
Well, Rich is here in the mid lane, looking super fly on his Akali. And Ucal is representing some SKT. Shout out to our boy Easy Hoon for that particular skin.
Oh.
Gotta represent.
That's a blast of the past.
Yeah, I had a chat to him after Worlds. Last year, it was cool to catch up after his time over in China. He came back to check out his team. No, I believe it was after spring final. More recently than Worlds. His English really improved.
Really?
Yeah.
He, when I lived with them in the MVP, Ozone MVP Blue era, he did not really speak English.
Yeah, this was the thing. And like before, when he was back in the LCK, I heard not so great.
And I didn't speak Korean back then, so I relied on Imp and Dandy to translate everything. Yeah, that was interesting.
Good times. As Peanut's gone for the spellbook. That's going to be his way of dealing with the fact that Dread can sap all of the resistances. If you take Aftershock, it means that you basically just die and create an unkillable Trundle, which is bad news bears. Rich going to be shuriken backflipping around this lane, but it's going to be difficult in the early stages, very similar to his previous matchup with Diana. And you can see, yeah, it just doesn't get it.
And so,
get to that level 6.
Even if, to some of the viewers, it's looking like Rich is just getting
blasted.
Yeah, blasted and bullied around. And maybe people are looking at this like, assuming he actually just started LoL yesterday or something. No, that's, that's not the case. This guy has multiple IDs in Challenger on the Korean server.
And also, this is a tough matchup for the
Yeah.
Ucal. He's also taking the right rune for it. Fleet footwork pretty good at keeping you topped up in this lane. And I assume he's gone into Ferocity second as well, so that he can get as much of that life back as he can. CuVee being annoying. And he's taken the Klepto. He's been frustrating. Double Klepto on this GenG squad, which is why they've got a 400 gold lead out of nowhere. It's very strange because you've got Ucal with a pretty gigantic lead in the mid lane at this stage of the game, but still, GenG over really far ahead is aiming. Driving forward, this can be a dicey one, as Ruler's going to turn this one around onto Senan. I like that use of the Devour as more of a reset mid-team fight, rather than actual just get me to safety. Life very good at playing around a more aggressive use of that ability.
That is this one of the first times we've seen Coin Emperor Tomcat? Maybe it's one of the first times I've seen it.
Yeah, we actually don't get to see this one very much.
We never get to see Coin Emperor. That's my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah, watch his recall animation if you can ever see it. You'll know why.
Do you know what he reminds me of?
What?
And I know I've been talking about Blizzard games a lot here, but did you ever play Diablo 3?
No, actually, I didn't. I have self-respect.
Aha, well I did, because
Okay.
I don't. And if you kill a treasure goblin, there's a chance that you open a vault, and at the very end of the vault, there is this boss called Greed. And that particular Coin Emperor skin
Sounds like my life
a
story.
lot like that guy.
All right.
Yeah. I feel like you should play the game.
Oh, man.
Come on, lose some self-respect, dude. Because, yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Don't know why I needed to go into that story so in-depth, as CuVee is going to miss the Q on Kiin because there are pesky minions in the way. How frustrating.
I just want you to see Tom's recall. Because you will be encapsulated.
Well, he's encapsulated in the wall.
Oh.
This point in time. Is aiming actually putting on the pressure very early in this matchup, as you can see. Ruler, of course, still able to be fine as far as farm is concerned, but life lead well and truly there for aiming. Senan going home real early.
And Infernal Dragon being the first one of the game is super crucial.
And that might have been why the Braum went back very early, getting those extra control wards, making sure that they can lock down that area as early as possible. I value that. Of course, hadn't completed the quest or anything, so no extra wards or anything like that.
Life and Ruler, they're just going to recall after this.
And
Unless Peanut's getting frisky.
Yeah, both of them with teleports available, as you can see.
Here no.
Are you okay?
Camera panned away.
Oh, yikes.
They're keeping the suspense going.
Yeah. Not going to be able to see the recall animation just yet, as they both go home. Ucal, going to get 5 points dropped, but otherwise not too worried here about any gank attempt, as Dread does get over the wall. There's the shifting sands, but good shuriken backflip timing there from Rich. Keep him alive, as these juicy minions are going to be lined up for a Q. Nicely done. Dread into position, just being so frustrating here, as Peanut just doesn't seem to have control of any of his jungle. An understandable situation here in this particular matchup, as Rich throws a ward in. We're going to have the Karma making her way over. The Inspire will be there, but just not in time, and Dread's going to lock down that red buff pretty comfortably.
Now as we return down to bottom lane, we get a little bit of the ping pong happening here.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the fact that everything's sort of happening on the top side of the map is working out here for Afreeca, who should be able to play these skirmishes relatively effectively. You saw aiming able to get a really good trade there onto the Ezreal. And as this lane is more and more isolated, it becomes more and more difficult for Ruler and Life, who were the linchpins in game number 1. Important to note, Rich again is going to be behind by 22 CS, but he's just not used to farming. Oh, that works. Kidding, of course. LS has already let you know that he in fact has multiple accounts in Challenger, has been playing. I believe he started playing League of Legends before Heroes and actually moved over to that afterwards.
Well, I know that he returned in February of this year, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was announced as having joined the roster in April. I believe, if my time period is correct.
Well, Rich should be able to find himself a decent back timing here as CuVee is going to break the chains. And move towards pushing this lane continuously. He's got a slight CS advantage, and he even has boots of swiftness, because why not? He's going to stop any gank attempt being super great as Ruler's going to get devoured.
He's taking damage, actually taking quite a hefty amount, but Rich not in mid lane.
Gonna make his way back late. True Shot Barrage flies in, gets a bit of damage onto Ucal there, as you can see. Yeah, Life is gonna move on down also. We'll see who's gonna be able to grab this one. It is gonna be the Trundle that locks it up. But speaking of being locked up, Senan takes the ultimate. It is gonna be okay. There's a perfect execution. Rich finds his way into the backline, but the Emperor's Divide is fantastic. But now they're all stuck in the pit. The dodge of the ultimate. No one gonna be fissured glacially this time. And this face-off is actually going to get won by the Afreeca Freecs. Ruler finds himself in a decent position now, and everyone able to get themselves over the wall. The flash of aiming is what's utilized as now the 1v1 on the top side. Kiin just getting kited. And I don't know why I got excited about it. Karma versus Aatrox 1v1. We all knew how that one was going to go.
It's pretty hard for Karma to actually go down early on. And now, as everything settles, going to be Afreeca with the Infernal Dragon. That's so big. All of their members, with the exception of Braum, utilize it quite nicely.
Oh yeah, real nice.
And the second dragon is going to be Cloud, so there's not even a chance for GenG to bounce back in that department. It was really surprising to see how cautious Peanut was being, even though it seemed like Rich really did just want to go in. But having to respect the Unbreakable on the Braum, that was really good ultimate, but getting exhausted, Emperor's Divide shoves him out. He's not able to get a lot of AoE damage, and then Ruler outside the pit, not able to do quite enough.
Yeah, and Rich wasn't able to get the second shot of the ultimate, I don't believe, which is why missing out on a bit of damage there, but just didn't have the opportunity, couldn't go in by himself. 1 versus 5 in that Dragon Pit. 1 versus 4? Yeah, 1 versus 4. Stop side. Dread coming on over here, spots out that Shelly has been warded, but throws down a control ward and will start this one up. Ucal in position, shifts some sense to get himself on the correct side of the wall as Rich will pay a visit to this area. Kiin gets first roam, but the Karma is going to come down as well. Flanking Karma, not necessarily the most powerful champion in the game, as Rich not going to get that reactivation of the Shuriken backflip. Peanut in here, gets the permafrost, and now Rich just being a menace. But Subjugation comes forward, has to flash to get over that, and the ultimate is going to be down as well. And that means that Shelly's going to be pretty comfortably going into the hands of Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, and Afreeca, they're just in the driver's seat right now with the Infernal. Shelly now picked up as well. 3.5 minutes remaining on turret plates. Looks like they're just going to summon it in mid lane, and Akali, she's not here just yet. Peanut going to be coming into mid as well. Ucal.
These spellbooks, by the way, are very unsealed this game. So we've got 2 of them, meaning that the amount of smites that we have pretty high, and GenG's ability to play around with teleports is going to be fantastic as well. Potential for a 5-man teleport for this squad, as the resets after Baron and then the teleport back into a lane are going to be pretty epic.
Well, Peanut, he's looking for a play down in bottom, but it does seem like Afreeca has snipped this out. Unfortunate for Senan, he walked a little bit too far forward.
Yep, face check going to come forward, and you can see that Rich is down here as well. Gets that first roam like the Akali wants, and he's going to find Ucal. Face checking here in this brush. Gets himself the passive and doesn't quite land the Shuriken backflip. CuVee comes down and spots that Kiin is going to be starting this one. Yeah, not going to be able to get that red buff away from him though, and Kiin's going to be able to have a lot more power here in this lane. Rich gets back mid, but a few turret plates did go down there in favor of GenG. Nicely done from them. Alright, there's the back animation. Just going to eat all of that Mandu. I like it.
You saw that?
Yeah.
You see what he was sitting on?
What was it? What was he sitting on? I was busy looking at the Mandu.
You better pay attention again next time.
Oh no, we have to watch it again?
Yeah, you did.
But we may not see it again. The observers...
I'm going to pay him off, you don't worry.
Okay. What does Jonas Strong need? Definitely not vegetables.
I'm gonna give him the Frosted Flake cereal bars that we have.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But they're free, I think, for him too.
You know what?
It's not much.
You're really killing the mood.
It's not much.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, he deserves better.
Alright.
At least get him something from the vending machine.
Okay.
You know?
I can do that.
Coke Zero or something?
Ooh, they don't have Coke Zero. I'm actually very disappointed.
do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. It's a new edition.
Really?
Yeah.
Since when?
It's been there for a couple of weeks at least. We're just going to walk over a ward. This blue buff is going to be taken. Afreeca with a good rotation over to make sure that they get that, and could transition into this Cloud Drake as well. As Rich with backflip, not going to get the passive, but Cloud Drake could be an option here. GenG in position as the turret plates fall down. We'll get an update onto how much gold we managed to pick up with that one as Ruler gets out of the way of the potential engage.
Just remember, GenG, they have double Kleptomancy, and they're still behind in gold, they're behind on the Infernal, they're about to be behind on the Cloud Drake, they're behind on team composition, they're just behind on life.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes a line gets behind.
Not feeling too rich in this game, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, getting peanuts, that's about it.
And
There
see how it goes. Get a ruler just to measure their exact state of the game as a barriers cast. I guess he felt like the flame was a little too much.
Yeah, he was sliding. Yeah, something CuVee. It's just frustrating that his name is unpunnable. Aiming in Senan is going to get position. And we'll then move back into this lane relatively comfortably. No worries at all, and a Vayne getting a free laning phase is always a frightening prospect. If you're anyone, but especially if you're an Ezreal.
Peanut just ran over a control ward a good 3 or 4 Teemos before turning around.
Well,
I don't know what he's doing.
He can Arctic Assault to get himself back, as Ruler needs to be devoured. He's spat out pretty immediately to give life the movement speed, as GenG will find the safety of their outer turret bottom lane through Shot Barrage. Not going to snag aiming with a great tumble timing. And Afreeca find themselves wanting to just try and invade the jungle rather than anything else. Peanut does, of course, have the Arctic Assault, so not going to be in too much trouble there, but the Wolf Camp should go to Dread if he wants it. And Rich just being relegated to underneath this turret is meaning that Afreeca have so much control. Everyone rotating over. Rich gets into a decent position, but this is just a gank to take down this outer turret, and they're going to do it for free.
And now Ucal, he's going to raise the passive Azir turret in the middle lane and also steal away the Raptor camp. So Peanut not going to get access to a lot of his jungle gold. And this game is really just looking like that as time keeps passing, GenG just keep falling further and further behind.
It's just worse and worse and worse, right? And I think a lot of it is going to be on Rich starting up some of these skirmishes once he gets that Gunblade completed. That is the first real item spike that's going to come in. Ruler very close to his Trinity Force as well, which is another big one. CuVee went back and got himself the Iceborne Gauntlet, meaning that he's not going to be adding to these teamfights necessarily. Vayne is going to be the next option. But right now, the utility not quite there, and Rich now going to make that rotation in. And GenG actually find it in here, 4 members versus the 3 that they have. Peanut very late to this party. Does cycle the Ghost to get himself here a little bit faster, and this turret is still very healthy. Another opportunity here for GenG if they can wait for the Sejuani to make her way down. Sand Soldiers don't last as long underneath this turret, but are still long enough to get enough poke damage onto GenG.
GenG are looking like they're probably going to need to pull a rabbit out of the hat here in game number 2. Well, if the game keeps progressing in this manner. Because remember, in game number 1, it took a miracle Baron steal just to stabilize it.
Yeah.
And then 2 follow-up hero plays to be able to bring the game all the way home. And so a lot of people watching that, they could have probably looked at it like, well, Afreeca was supposed to win this game if the Baron goes in their favor. And so now here in game number 2, where similar things are occurring, you're gonna wonder what is going to happen as the late game starts approaching, because GenG, they're just continuing to bleed all around the map.
Yeah, it's a problematic scenario. Now they're just bullied out of this outer turret on the bottom side of the map. Rich now with some free time in the mid lane, but Ucal, you can see, understands that he's not needed on the bottom side. He's going to be able to move back, and this mid lane outer turret is going to continue being very healthy. A huge lane for Rich to deal with. He's very happy that he's Akali in this scenario, who can be so slippery. Okay, Aatrox's going to be starting off this blue buff. We'll see whether he actually takes it away. No, it will be delivered over to Ucal. Gets in there, invisible blue buff, auto attacked by the Azir. And the Wolf Camp gets a little bit frustrating, but that's going to go over to Dread to get him back up. Peanut was a level ahead, still is, 10 to 9, but Dread is going to be very close to hitting that number as well after this camp goes down. GenG still, it feels like they're confident that they will have the ability to claw this one back, but I just feel like this composition is going to be really hard to navigate as this game goes on. And Afreeca Freecs, very simple to just get themselves set up for a team fight, land their AoE ultimates, and have Kiin run amok in a backline, with Dread being basically unkillable. As far as front-to-back compositions are concerned, Braum Trundle frontline, Vayne Azir, Hyper Carries, and Kiin being that beefy brawler. It's pretty easy to make work, as GenG is more about kiting, control, pick composition,
Right.
Rotation, things like that. And a lot of those are buzzwords that don't often work against a more cookie-cutter composition that Afreeca has got for themselves.
In GenG, they can relax temporarily, though. Ocean Dragon, not the highest of prizes for Afreeca, especially not at 20 minutes here in the game. True Shot Barrage.
Ooh, that was close. That was a real cute one.
Yeah,
that was actually blind.
Yeah.
Flagged it. Ocean Drake going to be taken here. Next one going to be another Cloud. Afreeca pretty happy that they managed to get that first Infernal Drake. If GenG had got that steal, things would be looking much more different for them, because they would have been able to concede the rest of the dragons and still had the most impactful one.
Well, GenG roll pretty fortunate, though, in terms of Dragon RNG.
Yep.
As another Cloud Dragon will end up coming up. And Karma, she's approaching her third item mark now, has the Athenes already. And if the shields can be big enough, and then provided that Sejuani can snipe either Ucal or
what are you doing, dude? Emperor's Divide does absolutely nothing. The flash forward from Rule is going to grab it with the Arcane Shift. Kiin now trying to find Rich, but it's a good sidestep that gets him out of the way. Can it save him though? Great flash and Umbral Dash from Kiin. Unbreakable stops the ultimate from Ruler, and now GenG with a man down are trying to fight this one back. No mid laners for either team as Senan very, very low. Sun Turret doing a bunch of work as Ucal getting work done from the grave. And Kiin goes golden after doing so much damage, but it's not enough.
Wait, is that
Yeah, Dread dives on in. There's the Abyssal Voyage. Ruler snags Senan, but no Iceborne Gauntlet. It's a Trinity Force. Extra damage from the Ezreal, but can't get that CC. And GenG decide, no, it's not. Time for a Baron.
And so Senan barely escaped right there. Same with Dread. As remember, Ruler, he's not present in this team fight. And yeah, like you were saying at the very beginning of this, what was Ucal doing? As Rich, he ends up getting caught there by the Infernal Chains, can't quite escape from them. And then Kiin turns his attention over to Life, who goes golden with the stopwatch, and so that does affect Kiin's healing. He doesn't get as much.
And Afreeca Freecs are just going to take a Baron. Okay.
Alright, that was a sneak.
Yeah. That was called decisive play against a GenG that have been known for doing exactly the opposite of that. I like the play a lot, and it's going to take advantage of GenG catch them napping after they thought that they'd found some control back here in this game. That is, in fact, not the case. Rich makes his way back down towards the bottom side of the map now, but they have to answer the top lane push. They have to answer all of the vision that Afreeca has around the top side as well. And with these Baroned up minions here, it's more difficult for Ruler to wave clear in the mid lane. Sam's getting that roam over. Dread here clearing out vision. That is a red buff that belongs to Afreeca Freecs. And GenG, after what was a great little skirmish, find themselves even further on the back foot.
Yeah. They're going to have a lot of difficulty stabilizing the lanes, the longer that this game ends up going. And if Afreeca end up getting the next dragon, even though it was a breath of fresh air, it's going to keep building up for the Elder, which they would likely be in position to take.
Yep, that should be, if they can wait after this Cloud, they could potentially get the next one, but maybe try and roll it, see whether you can get yourself another Infernal Drake, which could be on the cards. The likelihood not going to be super high, 33% for a Infernal, as opposed to the 66 for Open or Clown Drake. It's bad news, Bears. Kiin getting this wave shoved forward. He has a Baron buff, and going to be very difficult here to make this one work. Ucal in the mid lane, see whether he keeps his brain on for this next push. Doesn't necessarily need it as much after the Baron has been picked up. And Afreeca's push forward is going to start here. 2,000 gold going to transform into 3. They take down that inner turret. And aiming is feeling like a ticking time bomb. Does have the Rage Blade. And the teleport in from GenG. They want to go for this fight. Peanut's going to find the ultimate. Perfect execution is good, and Ruler's going to lock down that kill. But in the meantime, Afreeca Freecs pushing on the top side. CuVee going to get Blade of the Ruin King, but has the boots of swiftness that allow that slow not to really work. GenG move into the mid lane, get themselves some coverage on this inner turret, but Ucal just going to bully them out. Not going to be able to lock this one up. CuVee, once again, trying to defend. The inhibitor not down just yet. Rich turns up. Shroud into the backline. 5-point strike in there. Doesn't have the ultimate back available just yet. True Shot Barrage getting a lot of work done as Ruler. Full health, now trying to play frontline as Rich is very, very low. Ucal gets the roam, but it's relatively late, and I believe the inhibitor is still alive. Yeah, it is.
The inhibitor was saved, and now the dragon is up on the map. Now we'll see if GenG even makes an attempt at trying to go over to it.
Surprising that Afreeca weren't able to actually break the base.
Now you understand the Tom Kendrick call. I know you saw it. You missed. All right, whatever. Yeah. Kiin, he ends up getting
a drink of water. I apologize.
Raid boss down right there. It's all right. I forgive you.
Appreciate it.
Big deal.
I'll Google it.
All right. Yeah. Morellonomicon picked up, and you know what? It's not that bad this time around. I'm just gonna actually throw that out there.
All right. Good. Not too guilty. Well, aiming, going to be building his Shrink Ray. Coming in next. Otherwise known as Wit's End in this particular game. As out of turret in the mid lane, might actually get brute forced here by Ruler. He does have his Blade of the Ruin King done. Actually able to get a lot of work here, but Senan with the Unbreakable is a bit of a problem. Okay, Ruler just going for the 1v4. True Shot Barrage flies through, and that is just Ruler by himself taking control of the game. Damn, okay. Rich gets the backflip, finds Dread, dives in with the perfect execution. Dread is going to go down very low. Subjugation not going to be enough. The Devour's there to save Rich as well. As Ruler at full health. Live in there, does have the grey health. He's going to eat it relatively late. The dive forward from the Aatrox. Now Kiin trying to take it into his own hands and is going to get it. CuVee going to be taken down next, and now Kiin is popping off in this fight. Ruler way too low. Sorry, Peanut way too low, and Ruler with no way to play this one. And aiming just dives on in there. Finally, the Vayne is online, and Afreeca may have found their way to break open this brace for real right now.
They're going to be able to get... Oh, man. The death timer on life is relatively short, but all things considered, Afreeca can, at the very minimum, get 2 inhibitors.
Yeah.
Easily able to take this one. They could also probably get a Nexus turret if they really wanted to, but it seems like they're going to play it super safe.
Now it all comes down to whether or not GenG can actually start a fight on this Baron. They need to get these minion waves in order and need to get themselves into a position where they can challenge. The next one will mean we're going to a game number 3, and GenG's chance at guaranteeing playoffs are going to go one step more slim.
Yeah. As life right here, he gets thick skin, and then he tries to live, but honestly, had they just abandoned him, it would have been an okay situation. You got the flash out of Ucal, you got a kill. Everything would have been all right, but in the end, GenG bleed quite a bit, and You know, Atlas, I'm gonna need you to break it down for me because I'm feeling a little three-head. Why does Ruler have a last whisper?
In order to break through the large amount of armor on the enemy team.
All right. And can you locate the armor for me?
Zeke's Herald and Gargoyle's Snowflake. I do. That's the armor. Subjugation also giving a lot of armor. Of course, it's called subjugate, not subjugation, but that is what happens verb-wise as that button is pressed. So, in theory, he wants to be able to kill Dread if he's in the front line, trying to sap all of the resistance. So I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I got for you, mate. Not sure whether it's exactly the greatest choice.
You know what? I'll accept it. Okay.
Thanks, man. I tried really hard.
There's very few things that might be worse than Morellonomicon, and I do believe this last whisper might be it.
Whoa, that's a big call. That might be the reason why GenG lose this game if they do.
That's what we can blame it on.
Yeah, there we go. Infernal Drake is going to be the last Drake that does come out here. Going to be spawning in a minute and a half. The Baron has already been started here. Of course, aiming does a hell of a lot of damage to it. As our Peanut, he's going to jump on in. Should be able to clear out vision. What the heck? Okay. What? Guys, trinketed. What is happening? Okay, free Baron. What?
Well, they don't have any trinket available.
And Peanut didn't have a ward. So I guess they just didn't have any way of checking.
It looks like they didn't want to go for the 50-50.
I feel like if you don't go for that 50-50 though, like now, this is so easy for Afreeca just to push in and win, right?
They're going to push in and win. They're going to raise the Shurima turret at your bottom tier 2 so that you can't even commit that heavily to the fight because
Oh, it might have been GenG recognizing the fact that we're about reaching the time limit as the Abyssal Voyage is going to come in. Life and Rich going to be delivered, and Rich is just immediately going to get... Oh no, he's going to make it out with a perfect execution. Tom Kench not going to be so lucky. Going to be able to get rid of that one. Okay, final hour has been popped here by aiming. Not going to get a whole lot of value for it, but he is going to be able to take down this inhibitor turret. And GenG need to deal with these minions that are collapsing onto their Nexus turrets. They have a fair bit of minion damage, as our Ruler doesn't have a lot of health bar. He's going to have to be a little bit more careful. Does find aiming with a few of these Mystic shots. As Dread throws down the ground and Kiin gets the knock up onto Ridge. He's going to get pulled back by those Infernal Chains, but it's the Nexus that's exposed now. That's the big problem for GenG. It's going to get focused. They've got way enough damage, and Afreeca are going to even out the series against GenG. Much better performance from these guys, and this is what happens when Life doesn't have the ability to come in and steal away your Barons.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about in game number 1, where it really did come down to the Baron steal. Because other than that, Afreeca looked like they were winning out across the board. And then even after the Baron, there was still several things that occurred inside of the game that looked very Afreeca favored. Even leading up to the Baron, or the Elder.
Yeah.
Afreeca, I would say, was in a winning map state, which probably sounds ridiculous given that they were down inhibitors and whatnot, but it was really a testament to how good the assassination play was of Rich. And now we're going to a game number 3.
And Afreeca have all of that momentum moving in as well. They've looked like the better laning team throughout this series like you just illustrated. See whether they can leverage it. We saw some Kiin and Ucal fans in the audience just there. Both of those players playing very well this game. Although Ucal, I mean, it hasn't exactly been the most standout Azir performance so far over back-to-back games. But Kiin has definitely been very, very strong. Up against the CuVee that's felt somewhat absent. I think the Karma pick was... I mean, I never like it. But in this game, the Karma did approximately 0.
Okay.
That's what I was sort of seeing. And giving Kiin's Aatrox a free laning phase just feels like a bad thing to happen.
Well, they had all losing lanes.
Yeah.
That was one of the big problems. They had all losing lanes and then a Sejuani.
And a losing jungle matchup in the Sejuani versus Trundle just in general. But they had you know what?
Their
spellbooks was so unsealed.
That is true. That's really what did it for you, right?
That's a positive.
When you unseal the spellbook, do you get a Morellonomicon?
God, well, it did so much damage. Yeah, if you unseal the spellbook, I think a Morello Nomicon pops out.
I mean, Ruler, he was trying. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling a little unsatisfied though. I feel like he should have at least crossed the 50K threshold.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he had crossed the 50K threshold, then they would have won. But they
Perhaps.
lost in a very linear fashion, as you can see on this goal graph. It was basically a no contest, and Ruler still did the most gigantic amount of damage. A little bit rough there, but we are going to be going to a game number 3. We'll see whether GenG can fight back against a reinvigorated Afreeca Freecs, or whether it's going to be them using the momentum. Stick around.
야 온다.
이거. 얘네 쇼부 본다. 쇼부 바텀에. 야 아지르 너 그거 반응.
이거 봐줘.
봐봐. 해봐.
봐줘. 약하리. 야 캔치 공 빨아. 캔치 공.
야 앞으로 들어가. 야 타워부터. 괜찮아 앞으로 들어가.
나 탱이야. 나 방패 3초.
야 피관리 하나만 피관리. 괜찮아.
나 방패 2초. 나 방패
타워 쳐도 될것 같아.
타워 쳐봐.
오케이. 얘네 클리어 느려가지고.
나 아칼리 쑤시게.
나 피업 좀. 나
타고 사.
아니 타워 필요 없어. 피업 좀.
바로 라인만 써도 이거 게임 끝나. 쟤네 클리어 안 돼. 얘네 클리어 안 돼. 탑 1번 온다.
야 이거 내 앞에서 막아줄 생각해줘.
라인 클리어 안 된다 얘네. 아칼리 세주공 있다. 세주공 맞아줘. 트런들이 맞아주고. 세주공 빠졌어.
야야
나 타워. 넥서스. 끝났다. 나이스. 잘했다. 나이스.